All right, welcome back. Episode 5 of the Four Insight podcast. I'm Mike Obi. Nick is out today on business, but the show must go on. We got a hell of a guest here today. Joining me is my boy Max Wolf and the founder of Elite Form Nutrition. Max, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
5, man. That's big.
Hey, man, trying to do it, man, just for the culture and for the movement, man. Trying to do it.
Right.
All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna delve into just your background in personal training and how you got your brand going. My first question for you is, what got you into fitness and personal training?
So it's funny. Actually, 8 years ago, so May 31st, 2012 was my first day ever in the gym, and I was So we hit 8 years like 3 days ago. I was severely overweight. I was obese. My blood levels were bad. I had all the precursors to diabetes. Nurses and doctors were telling my mom that I needed to do something about my health, or I was literally day to day shortening my life. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my pops always tried to put it on me that I needed to get in the gym, but I had to make that decision for myself. So it was a random day. It was the middle of the summer in 2012, and I woke up and looked in the mirror, and I was like, I really don't like the way that I'm looking. And I remember going downstairs and literally started eating healthier. Like, I made a bowl of fruit for breakfast, and I went with my dad to the gym that day.
Yeah,
which was actually where the gym you and I met. That was Fitness Connection. And my dad was friends with a lot of people at that gym, and he introduced me to this trainer named Patrick, who was like epitome of bodybuilding in 2012. Like, he was 6'2", 240, 245, just pure muscle. And Patrick was a personal trainer and said, my dad was like, my son's looking to train. And Patrick said, well, I'm not going to train you as a client, but you can come meet me on my lunch break and you can train with the big dogs. So my first experience with fitness was training with this ex-military and his crew they went ham, dude. And it's funny because Elite Form Nutrition actually got coined from something my boy Shark said to me. He said, you're training with the elitist of the elite, which was a phrase I always like to live by. And so Elite Form was coined from that. So that's how I got my start. The first summer I hit the gym, I lost 30 pounds. And then I've been training for 8 years. So the first couple years were sports performance based. Then I've done bodybuilding. I've competed, trained in powerlifting dabbled with that a little bit. And now I do like HIIT circuit training and chasing the modeling look. So dabbled in a little bit of everything, but that's where it originated from.
So now, and your background, and now what led you to get into personal training yourself and life coaching?
I've been working since I was 11, and I've done a lot of different jobs in a lot of different industries, but fitness has always been the underlying thing that I do day in and day out, 365 days a year. There's never a day where I don't do something physical, and there's never a day where I don't eat clean. Like, yes, I have the cheat meals, but there's never been a point in the last 8 years where my diet hasn't been progressive to my goals in the gym. So it's what I loved. And back 2016 into 2017, I was like, wait a minute. People started coming to me and they were like, hey, can you write me up a plan? Like, we see your work ethic. We see you working out. Can you type up something for me to do? And I was just doing it for free, for fun. Right. And then I was like, wait a minute, like, I can do what I love and make money off of it. So I got my personal training certificates, which I still to this day carry. And that's a continuing education for me, and working on a nutrition degree, and got my start. And I love training people. I love seeing that spark in people's eyes and mind, and knowing that they can be more and do more. So I like being that person that sparks it for them, because that guy Patrick was the person that did that for me, and it led me pretty far. So I like doing that for other people.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, anytime we say in this life that you can do something that you love and it's in your field, it's in your expertise, that's always something that we want to strive to do. I mean, you're good at it and you love it. So, I mean, that's the two greatest things, I mean, in life.
And I push a lot of people to do that, you know what I mean, in any industry. Find something that you love that you can do day in and day out. Because I never go to work. I work 7 days a week, but I never go to work. I get to I work a lot and I work all day long, but it's not work to me because I love what I get to do every day.
Exactly.
It's impact.
That's what's up, bro.
Thank you.
So now, how did Elite Form Nutrition start? What caused you to form your own brand now?
So when I started working out, I instantly became a big supplement head. And that was kind of a weird time of the supplement era because the early 2000s and mid 2000s, they had a lot of supplements that became illegal right about when I started training, which I haven't ever put those in my body, but the industry kind of got shaken up a little bit. But I had always played around with different types of pre-workouts, pump powders, creatines, fat burners, like anything that you could buy at a supplement shop, I have toyed around with at one time or another to see how my body reacts. Yeah. And I'm very big on you can change the way your body functions off of nutrition and supplementation. So I've always been big into supplements. And then back 2017 and 2018, when I was living in San Antonio, I started playing around. Like I would bulk order all the ingredients that I like. And it looked so suspicious. I had a little gram scale and I had little spoons with white powders, and I would mix up baggies of my own pre-workout. And I was like, I would make my ingredient profile of whatever I felt like making that day, and I would test it. And then my buddies would be like, I would give my buddies some, and they would be like, how much? And I'd be like, oh no, don't worry about it. Like I just made it. They're like, dude, you should sell this. And I was like, okay, maybe doing that, I should legitimize it so I'm not, just moving bags of little suspicious white powders around.
Myself.
Let's turn this into a brand. So I spent about 2 years in the research and development stages. Everything is backed by multiple research studies done by medical professionals. They're done in all different countries around the world so that it's not just one sector, right? They've been done with obese people. They've been done with skinny people. Like every single ingredient in anything that I put out has research done on it. And I can explain to people and send them 200 pages of articles about why that specific ingredient is used. So it came about as just like training was a passion of mine, supplementation was kind of a spinoff on a passion of mine. And I was able to start it because I saw a gap in the industry. And Elite Form is we focus on the end goal instead of the middle goal. Like a lot of people, when they formulate their products, and I'm just going to use a fat burner, for example, when they formulate their fat burner, they want the consumer to feel like they're burning fat. So they fill their products with a lot of things that speed your sweating and they heat your body up, which yes, it burns fat, but it's not really sucking the fat out. It's just increasing your blood flow and increasing your sweat. So caffeine, niacin, B3, like B3 is something that flushes your skin. So if you put caffeine in vitamin B3 in a fat burner, which a lot of them contain, not mine, but a lot of other companies use it, what they're going to do is going to flush you out, make you sweat. You're going to, oh man, that's the best fat burner I ever had. Well, in 6 weeks, you're like, yo, I only dropped 2 pounds. So what I did is I went through and got the ingredients that actually oxidize fat from the body and speed up metabolism throughout the whole day so that, you're going to get a good sweat. I mean, you've taken it, you're going to get a good sweat off of it. And I swear by it, but, it's also going to actually help you lose fat. So I am the end goal in mind. I'm developing a protein right now as we speak. And what I want it to do is have all the essential amino acids in it versus I'm not looking at it as just a source of protein. I'm looking at what full profile proteins are going to get absorbed best by the body. And I'm going to include those in it because what's the point of eating, right? What's the point of drinking a protein shake? You want to get protein in. Well, if you're getting this really low quality protein, your body's just going to shoot it right through you. Absolutely. But if you can get a high quality protein that you can extract something like your body extracts a higher percentage out of it, that protein is going to go further. So I'm an end goal solution style company where every product is serving a deeper purpose than what the label says, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, see, this is part of the reason why I started this podcast and this platform is that, like you said, you were doing something that you love to do, right? And people were telling you, hey, you need to go ahead and make this into a brand, do something with
Yeah.
this, and try to reach a greater amount of people. For me, I mean, I had a lot of passions and I had a lot of things that I talk about. I mean, from fitness, like me and you were talking about today. I had a background in supplementation. I had a background in powerlifting, bodybuilding, all these things. And my whole thing was, I just talked about all these things. I had this experience, and people would come
Yeah.
up to me asking me about them, or asking for advice, or they would tell me, "Hey, why don't you do something with your voice or with your platform?" And so then I was like, "Well, I have a whole lot of people that I learn from, and who I get my information from, who I bounce information off of. Okay, let me just bring all of our minds together, and let's go ahead and share this with anybody who's needing
Yeah.
information and needing insight." And so, just like how you just explained with their whole supplementation, I always tell people supplementation is exactly what that word entails. It's not the substance, it's
Exactly.
the work, and that's what people don't understand. And just the way you broke down, even the way you formulate your fat burner, that's a lot of times what people think, that misconception is that if I take a fat burner, oh, I'm just burning it off. But then
Right.
when they don't see the results, they're wondering, okay, this product is bullshit. And then they either overdose on the product and spend way too much money, or they
Right.
put a whole bunch of different stuff in their body. And then a lot of these bodybuilders who, overdid all the supplementation when they were younger, now they're paying the price for it. A lot of them unfortunately passed away. So
Yeah.
just you explaining that to the people, I think, is very good, and it's very key for them to understand that when you take supplementation, first off, you have to really look into the ingredients that you're putting into your body, because it's your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at, okay, what are you trying to do, and how does this ingredient affect you? And
Exactly.
understand that, yeah, it might have a whole bunch of different terms, but you look into what those terms are, because really what you're going to find is a lot of these products, like you said, that was something I had to learn too, that a lot of these products are really mid-grade instead of the long-term thing. And so then the way they get you is you don't get that much results, but you get that little bit that makes you keep on buying it and keep on buying it and keep on buying it. I've used
Right.
the product and I can tell people that it works for sure. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
definitely, this is great info for the people to learn from and for me to learn from.
And I tell people they don't like supplementation is a luxury. You know what I mean? Like, it is by no means a necessity. And I tell people I'm not the brand for everybody, but I'm the brand for people that are going to put the work in and get the results. Like, you see, I'm not going to name any names for defamation purposes, but you can go to any local supplement shop that are nationwide chains and look at their ingredients and look where they source from. And it's all stepped on shit from overseas. Like, I source from the US and I can tell you where I get my ingredients, and my manufacturers in North Texas. So, like, it's Texas made, US based. It costs me more to get in, and I make less margins, but I know that the product I'm putting in people's hands is legitimate and it's going to make a difference. So that's another thing too. I see too many people in the fitness industry and the supplement industry saying like, oh yeah, this is for everybody. I'm like, but if you're for everybody, we're not all the same. Everybody has a different story.
Exactly.
So,
See what I'm
yeah.
saying? And for you, you have a following that swears by you. I mean, again, you're growing, you just new, and you had to build from scratch. So for the chains that had a whole bunch of influence already, yeah, their products might be able to grow a lot faster, but then are their products also yielding the results?
It's credibility, because, and I see this too, people take it and they're like, oh, that product was shit. And I'm like, yeah, like, send me the ingredient profile on it. And I'm like, yeah, this is all like a hype game for you. You just wasted 30 or 40 bucks on a thing of pre-workout. Like, I can tell you what you should have taken. You would have been better off with black coffee. Like,
Bro, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the main thing. Because I mean, even at old jobs I had, and even at the gym now, like, people will still come up to me and be like, "What pre-workout do you take? What post-workout do you take? What
yeah,
supplement do you take?" And my first question before I even tell them, I'm like, "What do you take right now?" And they'll
yeah,
tell me, I'm not gonna name the brand, but they'll show me X, and then I'll be like, "Bruh, you might as well have just taken coffee and just
right,
loaded it and put sugar in it and called that your pre-workout. You
right,
might as well have just had a whole bunch of butter and jelly sandwiches and just called that your post-workout. Put milk in
right.
it. You know what I'm saying? So definitely it's important. But transitioning on. So now you have this brand established. You're
Yeah.
growing. You've built it from scratch. You've gotten the information. What has been the pros and cons of having Elite Formula?
Oh man. Pros are definitely, I love what I do. I've gotten to travel a lot for it. I have a dozen athletes working with me. And I love seeing the impact. So that is by like seeing the impact, seeing the changes, seeing the brand. Like one of my favorite things is, and it gets me every single time, if I'm scrolling through Instagram, like if I'm on the explore page, seeing people that I don't follow having the products, or seeing it pop up on someone's story, or getting it sent to me, and people have messaged me and be like, hey, is this you? Like that's cool. Cause it's just like, this brand is like a baby that I created. And I'm just like, you see your little kid, like going to, and I'm still in the toddler stage. Like it's past infancy, but it's in the toddler stage, but it's just cool. Like, it's like watching a kid take its first steps. Like you're like, whoa, like it's starting to do its thing. So that's cool to me. Cons for me personally right now, I put up lots and lots of money to start this myself, which in my mind was less stressful than taking investors to get it started, because if for any reason it tanked, I now have to go to X amount of other people and say, hey, your money's gone, right? And file bankruptcy and this and that. So I was like, let me invest everything into it, which looking back, I could have put a down payment on a really nice house. But I was like, all right, cool. Well, we have the supplement coming out. But it just to put that in perspective, like it's crazy to me. I could have bought a house for the same amount of money I started the supplement company with. But that being said, it was risky. I started production last July. The supplements got delivered the week before Christmas. So last December we launched. December 19th we launched. And then 3 months in, Corona happened, which the gyms closed and the businesses closed and the sales slowed. And there I was with all this inventory going, well, what's my next move? And the only person I had to look in was the guy in the mirror. So there's been a lot of ups and downs, but that's any industry, and that's just entrepreneurship as a whole. And business is a war. It's a fight. As much as people glorify the hustle and business and the drive, like it's war. You got to put your bulletproof vest on and go to war every single day. There's no friends in business, and it doesn't mean you have to be hostile and violent and angry, but there's no friends in business. The goal of business is profit. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You need to profit, right? And I'm not in it for the money. Don't get that mistaken. But there's going to be days where you're fighting a war. You don't know how the battle's going to look. And you have to have, I call it the bulletproof mentality of you have to believe you're bulletproof, because if you don't, you're going to get struck. And that's going to be a life-altering event for you. But if you have this mindset mastery of, oh, I'm bulletproof, nothing's going to stop me, even on your bad days, you're going to end up okay. And then on your good days, you're going to be even more better. So a con is financial side of it, just because it's such financials are tough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like money is the root of everything. It's how this world revolves. So yeah, that's a con.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing though, is the fact that you had to start this brand all by yourself. Honestly, I feel like I would take more pride in it. And also, this begins and this ends with me and myself. Right. I don't have to worry about relying on X person, or I don't have to worry about this person, not doing what they need to do because they're a dumbass, or because they're not yielding the same type of passion as I do.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's nothing. So I didn't know how to go about taking investors, which is why I just saved my money up and invested myself. Mm-hmm. To people that know how to do it, by all means, go do it and show me how. Like, cool. So I'm not against people taking loans to do stuff, but I've seen people get burned. I've seen people get knocks on their doors by, what do they call it? Like sheriffs saying, you either have to file bankruptcy or you owe this person $40,000. And I was just like, hey, I don't want that to be me.
No way, hell no.
You know what I mean?
No way. And so just in that, and also, like it was an investment in yourself. This is what I said.
Absolutely. Oh,
Keep.
absolutely. And no one's going to push it harder than me. You know what I mean? Because one, I believe in it. And two, I stand behind it. And three, my whole life savings almost went into it. So, I have to, this is my only way out. You know what I mean? So.
But I mean, hey, you're doing what you need to do. You have the right mentality for sure. So I mean, I have no doubts that you can do whatever you need to, and that this brand will launch and this brand will survive and it'll thrive. So I mean,
Thank you.
but transitioning on to the next thing, what has been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned in starting your own brand and starting your own product? This is something that has been new to you, and it's been a new experience. So what have you learned?
Profanity school or no?
Yeah.
All right. Slow the fuck down. I spent 2 years mixing and playing with ingredient and formula profiles, and just like I spent a lot of time in the planning phase. And then when I got the supplements in, I was like, I would look myself in the mirror and I'm like, hey, why am I not sold out? Why am I not making all this money and this and that? And I was like, hold on, it took you 2 years to develop this. Like,
it's gonna take for you to get it out.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, cool. Now it's here. And everybody, the day I launched, they were like, congrats. And I was like, oh man, I'm on top of the world. And the next day I woke up and I'm looking at the inventory, and I had about 200 boxes. Like, it's about 2 times the size of a shoebox. I had about 200 of them. Like, it got delivered from an 18-wheeler, and forklifts and shit were in my front yard.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, this was just the beginning. Like, it's just here. Like, congratulations on starting. It's not congratulations on doing anything yet. So I don't want to say I rushed the process, but I thought it was going to move quicker. So slowing down is something that, and that's in all aspects of my life. I think too many people are rushed, but this is, in terms of business, this is the stage where you build the foundation, you build the brand name and the recognition in your core principles about what you stand for. And who would want to rush that? You know what I mean? And it's funny, when I slowed down and started being more strategic in what I wanted to push and why, and I had that reason behind it, sales started increasing.
I'm saying?
Showing people, yeah. And so it was just like, it's Nipsey is one of my favorite all-time human beings. I love his music. I love what he stands for. I love the person he was. And I live by that marathon mindset. You're not ever going to, you can sprint along that race, but you got to realize, like, if you sprint a mile, there's still 25 others. And you're going to have the conditioning and the mindset to get through those other 25. So that applies to anything. So that's kind of one thing that I've learned through business. That's been the biggest lesson, is slow down, build correctly, network correctly. Nothing happens overnight. Like, you step out of the supplements, like Amazon took how many years to build? And they're still building. You know what I mean? Facebook took how many years to build, and they're still building? Like, you can't expect to be great overnight. And there's so many parallels between business and fitness. I'm not even into fitness, working out myself for the physical results of it anymore, beyond like looking good for modeling. It's such a mental thing for me. You're not going to change your physique in a week. You're not going to change your business in a week. So there's so many principles of, like, look at training. You got to eat right. You got to train hard for months at a time before you start to see any major changes. So why would the same thing not apply to business? There's no difficult. It's like a formula. It's like a recipe. You have to put it together, and it's going to take time to cook. But you know what ingredients to use when you follow a recipe. So the same thing goes for business, but you can't rush it. Otherwise the food's not going to taste good. So, I mean, every day you're cooking up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then you're going to get that big dinner plate at some point, but you got to cook on a daily basis, if that makes sense.
I mean, like you said, the key of slowing down. See, I've talked about this before. The fact that this life is very, everything is rushed. People don't want to let things bake. It's like, nope, let me just have this microwave mindset of, I need it now, I need it now, I need it now. Even if it means having a lesser product or not really fully getting the education or getting the tutelage that I need. No, I need it today. But then what you start to realize is, okay, if you have that mindset, you're not really going to reach your full potential like you realize.
Right.
So I had to see that also in fitness and schooling and jobs
Yeah.
and it really mean in everything that, the same mindset that Nip had, I have too.
Yeah.
This life is a marathon and everybody has to run their own race,
Right.
not
And
everybody has the same base or the same background available to them. So you have to
right.
do of the situation that you're given.
And 9 times out of 10, question what's being told. Like everybody's like, oh, you should complete college in 4 years. Well, who says that? Like who's stating you're supposed to finish in 4? Just because like it's not the colleges. They want you there as long as they can suck money out of you. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Or people
Exactly.
are like, oh, you should have a job by 22. Well, who said that?
That's the general.
Right? Like that's
Yeah,
not. So I'm a skeptical human being
me,
for that reason.
me too.
Um, and it makes me, I question everything. I play the devil's advocate for a lot of things. Cause I mean, look at fitness. People are like, oh, you need to eat chicken and rice. You need to do 20 minutes on the Stairmaster. You need to progressive overloaded training and woo, woo, woo. For what? That might not work for you. You know what I mean? Like question who said that? Who? The bodybuilders in the 80s? Like drugs are different. Training's different. Like even competing is different. So the look is different. You know what I mean?
No. No, and I think what needs to change is this, like, because you're a skeptical human being, because I'm a skeptical human being, first off, I think just our generation as a whole is a little bit more skeptical. We don't take things on face value that the older people might have taken. And we get labeled as, oh, you guys don't believe anything, you guys don't buy into anything. It's like,
Right.
no, we're seeing that there's many ways to skin a cat in this life. And so
Yes.
what worked for maybe this generation or this person isn't going to work for this person. And not everybody did things the same way. We're not robots, right?
Right.
So what worked for you may not work for me. Your eating program may not work for
Exactly.
fit my eating program. I'm not going to try to fit a whole bunch of round pegs in the square holes or vice versa. No. Okay. You have an ectomorphic body. I'm not going to give you an endomorphic
Exactly.
workout plan.
Diet plan, workout plan. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I think you being able to evolve and being able to sort of adapt to your surroundings is very key and will be very vital in your success. So, transitioning, closing out here, uh, first off, what would, in your opinion, be advice or anything you could pass down to people who are trying to start their own brand or just people who are trying to get into elite form nutrition? What would be your
Yeah.
message to them?
For it gets overly complicated. It's not hard to start your own brand. It's not hard to venture out and do that. And the hardest part of my own journey, I'm a black sheep in my family.
Mm.
I didn't do anything ever by the book. I've always, ever since I was little, been a skeptical human being. I started working when I was 11. I started hustling any way that I could. I started saving money. The hardest part is going to be the emotional challenge, not the physical. It's going to be stepping away from what your parents want you to do. If you're stepping away from those Friday nights. There was a period of 3 years where I was sober. There was no alcohol in my system, no drugs in my system. I didn't go out. I didn't date. I worked. I hustled. I was MIA from a lot of things. And I don't regret anything in this life, but balance is going to be key. So that I was off the deep end in the hustle world, which worked for me, but balance is key in everything you do. So you're going to have the emotional struggle, but balance it. Just make sure you get your work done. Handle your business before you handle your fun time. But work hard and play hard, and it's possible. Like anybody can do anything they want to do. Like just because nobody's done it before or someone that you are like hasn't done it before. That's why I preach my message about anything I'm going through. Big advocate of mental health, because people that are like, oh, I struggle from anxiety or depression. I can't do that. Well, I'm doing it on a daily basis. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but you can do it. You just need someone that's like you in some way, whether they're from your city, whether they work out at the same gym. The more you can relate to people, the more you feel connected, the more you feel like you can do that. But it's easy. Social media is the number one tactic to use in starting a brand because it's exposure. Like I don't have a huge following, but I got like 1,800 on Instagram. But imagine if there was 1,700 people outside your window. Like, what would you say to them on a daily basis? Imagine if there was 300 people outside your window. Like, people get confused. They're like, oh, 20,000 followers. I'm like, that's a struggle. That's a lot of people to talk to on a daily basis. That's a lot of opinions coming at you. And that's a lot of hate. But like, I don't care. People have 150 followers. Like, oh, I have a big following. I was like, if you had 150 mother effers following you around on a daily basis, you'd feel like a celebrity. So it doesn't matter the size of your following. Talk to your followers. Like, think of Instagram like a homie. Like, every time you get on your stories or you post something, you're talking to your friends. And that's going to build credibility on the brand. So that's my 2 cents on that. For anybody that wants Elite Form Nutrition, if you go Google Elite Form Nutrition, or you can go to eliteformnutrition.com. You can order all the supplements through there, Instagram too. So I'll be happy to help with any questions.
All right, we're closing out. Quick hitters. What you currently watching on during the quarantine, man?
What am I watching?
Yeah.
I'm reading, man. I'm reading a lot. So I fall asleep when I watch TV, but when I just finished up this book called The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort, which is what the Wolf of Wall Street movie. I got him on my wall. He's an idol. But he talks about selling. So that's one. And then that's more of a businessy entrepreneurship, but a book I want to put everybody and their moms and their kids on is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Game changer, bro. Game changer. So that's one I would highly recommend.
Absolutely, though. That's a wrap for us. 4 Insight Podcast, episode 5. Want to thank my brother Max for joining us today. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Insightful. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, and all platforms streaming podcasts. Appreciate y'all.